Good morning. Hello. How's everybody today? I hope you had a great day yesterday. I certainly had a good day yesterday. My feet are a little bit sore, but other than that, it was great. Learned a lot, and that's what we're all here to do, is to learn more so you can take it back to your communities and teach it to the kids, and that's a cool thing. Now, my name is Michael Hutchinson. I am the comms manager for the Manitoba First Nation Education Resource Center. And yeah, you might have known me from, I've been the host of APTN National News, recently on CTV Morning Live and that sort of stuff. So I've also worked for the Assembly of First Nations and pretty much every First Nation organization in Manitoba, probably, the AMC, the Manitoba Keewat-Noyoga Mackinac, and other organizations. Now, I want to point out that we have some great ASL people here today that are going to be helping our people with hearing loss and hearing challenges to better understand what's going on here today. So I'm super glad that we have this great addition to our show. Obviously, I'm not Simon Bird. Simon had a little meeting this morning, and he will be back later at about 10:30. But I want to apologize because I made a huge breach in First Nation protocol. And so I do want to apologize to the people of Treaty 1 for not having them invite us to the territory. I am a member of Treaty 5. I'm a big supporter of Treaty. And it was a breach of protocol on my part that I didn't have someone from Treaty 1 inviting us to the territory. So I would like to invite up Chief Jason Daniels from the Swan Lake First Nation and Elder Ernie Daniels from Long Plain to welcome us to the territory. So, gentlemen, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Daniels, and very honored to speak in front of you today. I was recently elected in September to the position of a counselor and chief, and it was a very humbling experience. I believe I won the lottery because I can work with my people and my community to move forward, and that's what I want to do. So, Michael, it's all right about yesterday. Today, I don't know if you all know about this. It's Manitoba Day. Manitoba Day, if you don't know, was created in 1870, and it was a small postage stamp province. And a step back, in 1869, there was the provisional government by the Louis Riel and the Métis people. They created the government here in Manitoba, in Winnipeg. And then in 1870, the province of Manitoba was created without the consent of the First Nations people, which included the Dakota people and the Ojibwe people. And there was agreement many years ago about that, where the Dakota people and the Ojibwe people would live in harmony between the Red River and the Medicine Line, which was the international boundary. So we were forgotten back then too. And Chief Yellowquill Hazaukin had actually put up notice on one of the doors in the church in Portage la Prairie, and it told the settlers, stop taking land, stop improving the land. We haven't been dealt with yet. And they think we were a little bit uneducated and unaware of what we were supposed to be doing. But our First Nations people have been here for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, not 100 years, not 10 years, hundreds of thousands of years. Those pyramids in Peru, they're older than the ones in Egypt. We have a pyramid system in St. Louis. I don't know if you know that. It's the youngest one. There's pyramid systems in Mexico. We had very good architects. Chaco in the southwestern United States. We had 5-story structures when in Europe they only had 1 story. So we were very smart people. We weren't just gatherers. So getting back to this, they sent the treaty commissioners out in 1871 to come and sign treaty. It wasn't a very good deal. If you ever want to learn about the Treaty 1, it was recorded in the Manitoba newspaper. 7 days of negotiations. On the 6th day, the chiefs or the leadership of the nations said, this is not a good deal. This is not a good deal. And will wait one more year. But it was signed, okay? So we have to acknowledge that we were never considered and we were never thought to be part of this country. And so yesterday, maybe it was a planned event where they ignored Treaty 1 because we need to talk about it today. So today we're just basically correcting something. I heard something yesterday from Jason Bone about Manitoba being a little boy that was gone to the Star World. And I don't know if you know about that as well. I know very little. But these are some of the things that we need to be aware of, that today we're still third-class citizens in a first world country, which has to stop. We have a Peguis First Nation who's flooding out. You know, they never chose that land. They were forced to live there. So, you know what? What have we gotten from treaties? Poverty, abuse, neglect. That's what we've gotten, plus $5. So I think we need to acknowledge, where we've come from, where we need to go. We need to educate our kids, our youth, and ourselves. I'm still learning about a lot of stuff. So I could go on and on and on. I'm thankful for being asked to talk, but I think I'll cut this mic off in a few minutes here. So, but anyways, we just acknowledge today that even though the Manitoba has been recognized, they're not recognizing Treaty 1. So we need to make sure that stops. Treaty 1, Treaty 2, Treaty 3, Treaty 4, Treaty 5. Sorry. But anyways, Ernie, do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Jason. He's actually in bloodline. He's my grandson. So from Swan Lake. Anyway, we wish the kid good morning. I just want to acknowledge the pipe ceremony yesterday. I want to acknowledge our flag staff of Treaty 1 here. I want to acknowledge the drums and the dancers and the ceremonies that took place yesterday. Jimmy Witch, those people that helped us with our ceremonies. It's part of our protocol. And I'm glad Mr. Michael Hutchison saw that there was a little glitch yesterday and that he apologized this morning, and I fully accept that as a knowledge keeper and one of the elders of Treaty 1. So thank you very much, Mike, and Education Resource Center. Thanks for your leadership. I was very, very touched yesterday by the theme of this conference. The children who are gifted or gifted children. You and I know that we have challenges amongst our babies or children with autism, with FAS, all kind of challenges our young people have, but they're all gifted. And I'm glad that this resource center has acknowledged the fact that our children are special. They're gifts from our Creator. And I'm glad you as teachers, educators, are the ones that are empowering our kids so they can face the future and challenge those things that Chief Daniel just talked about in terms of there are lots of issues to do with treaties, outstanding issues that we need to deal with. That impacts on our kids, that impacts on our communities, that impacts you. For example, health. So that's all I want to say. Chimiigwech, feel free to be part of the ancestral lands of the Ojibwe people in Treaty 1. Miigwech, have a good day.
All right. I'm a big supporter of treaty, so I do apologize for that breach in protocol. It is important that we acknowledge that, we're all different nations. Manitoba is the size of some European countries. And, there were nations here. And when Canada came, there were no wars of conquest. The Canada didn't conquer the Cree people. We signed peace and friendship treaties with them. And we had laws. We saw their salesmen come, then their missionaries, and then eventually they started changing the land. And we said, okay, now your government's here, and you guys got to start making, did you want to get up and talk? Okay, and so that's how treaty was made. It wasn't something that was always forced on us. Our people were sending letters to Ottawa saying, "Okay, you guys are here now. You got to make treaty with us." So, they gave us a lot to think about there. Charles is here, and I think he wants to say a few words. So, Charles, come on up.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Elder. Thank you, Chief. Gachimi Wech for your very good words. First of all, I want to say how was yesterday? Wasn't it a great day yesterday? I thought it was awesome. I'll say it. I've been mingling around. Certainly a lot of people have been coming to me, asking me, talking to me, chatting with me. And, I totally appreciate everything that's been coming to me in terms of messages. Again, all the positives, maybe some of the things that we could work on. And I tell you what, that's what we're all here for. We want to make sure that we're here for what's best. And I think the theme, as the elder has said, again, those comments about the videos and messages. And then again, it's what we're all about. When I hear about the treaties, I hear about, certainly we don't talk too much right now, but it's well in our mind about residential schools, and certainly the missing and murdered women and children. Those are our histories and the teachings that we need to showcase, and we need to bring that to our children. The treaties, as you may have seen yesterday, we had Treaty Commissioner of Manitoba, Loretta Ross. We've already started engaging in partnership with Treaty Relations Commission on treaty education. And again, the importance of our treaties to our children. The importance of residential school history to our children. They need to know as they move forward. I know there are students that are involved in institutions and in universities, colleges, that also do research work for their institutions, but really it's research for us, for the betterment of our people. So we will continue that. Let's do community histories. Let's do know our names of our communities, our rivers, and I know Simon mentioned it yesterday. I'm proud when I speak of my community. I'm from Ebb and Flow, and I'm proud of that. And every one of you should be proud of your communities, and I know you are. My reserve is called Jigging, which means basically the river that flows back and forth. Kakakwe means back and forth. Jiung means water, and those are the kind of things need to teach our children. We're proud. I'll say it. I'm proud to be standing in front of all the educators here because it's not the work I do, it's the work you guys, you teachers and educators do for the children. Very proud of that, and you should be proud of that. I'm rambling because I'm proud. I'm proud for every one of your communities because exactly we're here for that. I just had to say that. I appreciate the kind words that have been brought forward. I wanted to share something, and one of my cousins from Little Sass called me over. She said, come over here, I need to talk to you. And she said, I appreciate those books that you're providing to our children. And I know I'm a strong believer in children's books. I'm a strong believer in early reading, early literacy, having that child come into school at nursery being able to read. Dollywood is something that I've been promoting for years now. And as I came on board now it's been 2 years as executive director, I said, we're going to make Dollywood good again. So you see books coming out, register your kids for Dollywood in your communities, whether it's through the schools or through your nurses, health centers. Let's get our children to read and read and read and read. We will be a stronger nation by doing that. That's what I believe in. I'm done. I'm done. So everybody have a great day today.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. And Charles is one
one more thing. I do want to. You know what I'll say? When you get me up here, I get caught up in, and I'll say it. I'm very passionate. I know that the team that we have, they'll tell me that once you get on a podium like this, you can never make you stop. But I want to acknowledge also a great leader that we've had. We've had many, many great leaders throughout our day and throughout our history. And just recently losing a great leader in our communities. It's very hard-strung, and I know he was a proponent for First Nations, for treaties, for education, for health. And certainly I want to acknowledge Mr. Bill Travers, the late Bill Travers. I want to do that for the family. I've been asked to, and certainly want to acknowledge that. So again, I just say miigwech to everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. That is one of the reasons why I am now working for the Resource Center, is that passion that you see, not only in Charles, but all the staff at the Resource Center. One of my titles right now is conference coordinator, but I didn't really do anything, to be honest with you. We have some amazing ladies at the Resource Center, and like so many things, it is the ladies that make certain that things actually happen. So I really want to thank all the ladies who were a part of putting this conference on. Obviously, there's some hardworking dudes too, but it's really the ladies that saved me when I needed saving at the beginning of this process. And I could name names, but there's so many of them that I don't want to miss anybody. But I do want to specifically mention, Shalene and Ashley for all their super help in putting this conference on. And please give the ladies of the Resource Center and the teachers and everybody a big round of applause, please. And obviously there's passionate guys like Charles and Davin there as well. And so that's why I'm at the Resource Center now, because I believe the goal and the importance of revitalizing our language and cultures is incredible. And we are at an important time right now where we're getting support from Canada to do that. And now there's that phrase, strike while the iron is hot. And things are hot right now. So we got to make certain that we can forward our cultures, our agendas, and our nations as much as we can at this time. And it starts at the bottom, right? Our young people are our future leaders. And those gifts that we talk about, they got to use them for the good of our community. Well, I speak to youth lots, and I always tell them that in my culture, the way to be a good person is to find your creation-given talents and then use them for the good of your community. Now, speaking of that, our keynote speaker is somebody who has done just that. She has taken her God-given or creation-given talents and used them for the good of her community. Tasha Spillett Sumner draws her strength from both her Cree and Trinidadian bloodlines. She is a celebrated educator, poet, and emerging author. Tasha is most heart-tied to contributing to community-led work that centers on land and water defense and the protection of Indigenous women and girls. Tasha is currently working on her PhD in education through the University of Saskatchewan, where she holds a Vanier Canada Award. Tasha has experience working in the school system as a classroom teacher, and she also asked to work with educators on increasing their understanding of Indigenous peoples. Her picture book, I Sang You Down from the Stars, about a Cree woman preparing for motherhood, made the New York Times bestseller list. If we could keep the conversation down to a dull roar and give Tasha Spillett Sumner a round of applause, please. Good to see you, Tasha. Thanks for coming.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good morning. Watching at Totemik. Like Michael said, my name is Tasha Spillett Sumner, and it's quite an honor to be here with you all this morning. I want to thank MFNER for the invitation, as well as the organizing committee for extending the invitation for me to come share with you this morning. I have to just right out of the gate admit that my heart is running like crazy horses right now. As I stand in front of you this morning, I feel a little bit like a small fish about to jump back into a very big ocean after spending quite some time swimming around my own little pond. Oops, there we go. So after more than 2.5 years, it feels very strange and exciting to be at such a large event again. This is my first public speaking event since 2019, after taking the last bit of that year to enjoy the rest of my pregnancy. And then, of course, we know how 2020 went, and then 2021 went, and then the start of 2022 has gone as well. But it does feel good to be back in the presence of family and friends and familiar faces again. It lifts my spirit to see people gathering again. We are people that gather. We are people that rely on one another, that rely on the relationships that keep us united. And I know that it's been a really tough time. I know that over the past 2.5 years, great things have happened, like, you know, the little girl that you see on the screen, that's my daughter, Isabella Gijigowiavic. And sad things have happened. And we've had to go through all of those things largely without the community that we rely on. So I encourage you all over the next couple of days to really enjoy spending time in the company of each other. Really enjoy spending time hearing one another laugh, hearing one another speak, because it's been far too long. So over the next while, I want to take you on a little bit of a journey while keeping the theme of the conference, Every Child Has a Gift, as our lighthouse. The first stop on our journey is spring 2020. So we're going back, let's jump in our minds back to spring 2020. So in my spring 2020, I'm sitting with my husband and my daughter. Then she's 1 year old. And she's going through one of her, what would be many, many battles with teething. She's absolutely miserable. I'm doing everything I can to soothe her and comfort her, but she is mad. The phone rings and I don't recognize the number. And I'm about to press ignore because I'm stressed out and I'm overwhelmed and my baby is crying, but I decide to answer the phone. And on the other end of the phone is my editor, Susan Rich. And she's the editor of my picture book, I Sang You Down from the Stars. She asked me if I'm sitting down. And of course I am, with my fussy baby. And she says to me, Tasha, what I'm about to tell you is going to change your life forever. And I think at that moment, I probably shot my husband a really strange look. And she goes on and she says, as of today, you are a New York Times best-selling author. That's something that very few people can say. And no matter what happens in your life, no one can ever take that away from you. Now, who remembers that show Punk'd with Ashton Kutcher? In that moment, I felt like I was being punked. I remember Susan's laugh when I asked her, "Are you sure? Like me?" And she very much just laughed and she said, "Yes, Tasha, I'm sure you." We said our goodbyes and I shared the news with my family, who were all elated. And very quickly, over the next few weeks, the media requests, like you'll see on the screen, started coming in. But I want to share with you something behind the headline, something that I haven't talked about very much publicly at all. So after all the successes of the book, after the book launches, after the interviews, after each and everything positive that happens with my career, my mind is always brought back to the same place. And the place that my memory pulls me back to is my days as an elementary and middle school student. And so we're going to do another jump in our journey. So I'm going to bring you back to grade 2 and 3 me. And in grade 2 and 3, my most predominant memories of that time is being pulled out of the classroom, pulled away from my friends to do diagnostic learning tests. because the teachers at the time had identified me as having some cognitive disadvantages or some cognitive challenges. And even today, as I stand here in front of you, I still feel that level of shame that I wasn't smart enough, that I would never get a handle of how to read and how to write. I also think about the day in grade 7 when my English teacher called me to the side of her desk and asked to go over one of my assignments. She held my assignment that I had worked hard on, that I was proud of, in her hands, and she looked at me and she looked down at my work and she said, "You know what, Tasha? You're just never going to be any good at writing. You should just focus on something else." I was absolutely crushed. And I've always loved to tell stories and I've always loved to write, but back then I did struggle with spelling and grammar. Now, a couple different outcomes could have happened from these experiences. I could have internalized the belief that I wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't good enough, that I would never accomplish anything great in my life, which would have resulted in a very different outcome for myself and my family. Or I could have worked past that, what I was being told about myself, and lean into what Creator told me about myself. Lean into the gifts that I knew that I had from Creator, that I was given, and to find a way to share them. So let's do another jump in our journey. Before the writing, before working in schools as a teacher, before working on my PhD, I taught for about 5 years. And so yes, even after these unfortunate experiences as a student, I chose to become a teacher. And I think that people become teachers for a couple of reasons. Either they become a teacher to be just like that teacher who changed their life for the better, or they become a teacher to be the person that they wish that they had in the classroom. And there might be the third reason of the summers off, but I don't think people talk about that. When I graduated with my BA and my B.Ed, I was determined to be the teacher that I wish that I had. I was fully committed that no matter what, the students that came into my classroom were going to know that they were valued. Now, you all know that as teachers, you all know that teaching isn't easy. It involves the impossible juggling act of trying to get through the curricular outcomes and also meeting the unique needs of our students. I know it's tough, especially the people who went through the past 2.5 years trying to guide students through the pandemic. You know, I honor you all because I know that must have been especially difficult. What my students taught me is that there's absolutely a priority in that juggling act. And that's to meet students where they're at, to gain their trust, to care for them, meet their needs of their hearts before you can really successfully introduce them to those curricular outcomes. The image that you see on the screen is one that I took from a student bathroom when I was teaching. And I think that it really poetically demonstrates what goes on in classrooms daily. We have young learners screaming for help, sometimes even raging for it. And it's easy to see and hear the anger, like the big F you and hate you that's written boldly on the bathroom wall. But anger is a secondary emotion. It's important to see what stands behind that anger, and often it's a whole lot of hurt that's been concealed. Like on the wall, under the F you and the hate you that jumps out at you, in the corner is written, "I'm sad, sorry." And the truth is that if we don't get to the "I'm sad, I'm sorry," we will always get the F you, hate you. So thankfully, with the support of my family, my storytelling has always been something that's been nurtured and celebrated. And that's the path that I chose. And I like to share all of this. I like to share that particular grade 7 story when I get the chance to with young people. Because sometimes when you become known for a certain thing, like in my case, writing, or my husband's case, singing, and you'll get a chance to hear him sing over the lunchtime, People assume that it's always been easy. And maybe for some people, that's the way it works, but certainly not for everyone. And I share this story with young people and educators like yourselves to remind people that other people's opinions of us really don't matter. They're none of our business. That not everyone will honor or even be able to see the gifts that we have, and it's not our responsibility to prove those gifts to them. Our only responsibility is to share those gifts with the world. Each and every one of us came into the world with gifts and purpose. The crucial thing is to remember that our gifts don't solely belong to us. They belong to the collective. As carriers of those unique gifts, we carry also the responsibility to share them and to make life easier and more beautiful for those around us, including our animal relations and the land. So let's travel back to present day. My husband took this picture a couple days ago. This is my baby. She's the boss. In fact, last night when her papa, who's here today, Jerry Sumner, came to visit, she immediately requested $5 from him. Let me tell you, this girl is a force. As her mother, I know that I'm her first teacher and it's my job to guide her. She didn't come into this world as an empty vessel, ready to be filled up. She came into this world like all children do, filled with the brim with unique gifts and ancestral knowledge. See, she teaches me something every single day, and sometimes all through the night too, much to my demise. After a particularly tough day, I wrote these words about her to remind myself that everything that she is a lesson and a gift. And so these are the words of the little poem I wrote for my girl. All the sugar and spice will never amount to you. I gave birth to a comet, a blazing celestial stone that hurled through my being on its path to Earth. With the strength that changes landscapes, you are a crater maker for my cooling cool waters. Because of you, I am deeper and more full. Daughter, I gave birth to a comet. I'm a pandemic parent, and I wear that kind of badge with honor. Our daughter Isabella was born March 3rd, 2020, only days before the first lockdown here in Winnipeg. Becoming a new mom is life-changing on its own, but becoming a new mom in a world that you no longer recognize demands huge internal shifts. After Izzy was born, I struggled deeply with postpartum anxiety. I was trying to figure out how to be a mom for the first time while also trying to keep her safe from the virus that at that time we didn't know very much about. My anxiety was absolutely paralyzing to the point where it took 43 whole days for me to even gather the courage to walk outside the walls of our house and to go into the backyard with my baby. If I'm being honest, the courage that I eventually did find didn't even come from me. It came from her. On the 44th day, I looked down at my baby and she reminded me of a teaching that before a child is born, they see each and everything that their life will be. They see the good, the bad, the struggles, the celebrations. And it's their first act of agency in their life to choose to be born. So my daughter, my courageous, brave little girl, she saw the pandemic, she saw how it would go, she saw how it would end, and she still chose life. And she trusted me enough to choose me to help her walk through it. It was that gift of pure hope that all children carry into this world that helped me take that first step back into the world. So as we now come to the end of our journey, I want to remind us all that not only does every child have a gift, but that every child that still lives within each of us also has a gift. The child that lives inside us that we're told that we weren't good enough, that we weren't smart enough, that we wouldn't amount to anything. The children inside of us that told that the people that we come from weren't good enough, that the people we come from weren't strong enough, weren't brilliant enough, which we know are all lies. that they are all still waiting in us to figure out how to honor them and let them shine their gifts. So let's take every opportunity to wrap those children that live inside us with the love that we know that they deserve. Let's tell them that it's okay now. Let's tell the children within inside us that I'm here for you. I will protect you. I will stand up for you. You are brilliant. You are loved. You have gifts. And like those gifts, you matter. So thank you for making the time for me to share with you this morning and for trusting me to come on that little journey. And I welcome you to find me on Instagram and to follow the life that I have with my little girl and my husband. I also have a few books that I have here. If people are interested in a signed copy, I'll be set up over there. So kinanaska mitnalaw until we meet again. Thank you. I don't know.
9:45. Yeah, did you want to do a little question?
If you want to.
Okay, sure. All right, we're going to do a little Q&A with Tasha just to, use up some time that we have. If you have a question, maybe put up a hand, and we have a wireless mic.
Oh, it's under the.
Oh, it's under here. Okay. All right. So I have a couple of questions that I'd like to start with. How has, I know being a mom, you just spoke about how important being a mom is central to your teachings, but, my whole life changed when I became a dad. How I looked at movies. Now I watch movies and something happens and I start crying. It's ridiculous when you become a dad and you experience a new part of creation, I guess, and it affects your heart and it affects your mind. So can you tell us, how comprehensive was that for you? And do you have any funny stories of that sort of slapping you in the face? Heck, I'm a mom now. There we go.
I feel like the, oh my gosh, I'm a mom now kind of slaps me in the face every day, especially at 6 a.m. But I thought I knew who I was before I had my daughter. I thought I was pretty confident in the person that I was, the woman that I was, but becoming a mother has been so completely humbling. And I think that, I'm not sure people told me that it would be tough, and if they did, I didn't listen. But it's, being a mom is a big job. It's an important job. And I think that, each and every day I'm humbled by the person that she is. And I feel like a junior mom. And I know that there's many women in this room who probably have more than one child, probably have many grandchildren, and you are all the experts. So I'm grateful to be around women who share generously how to get through the tough times.
Okay. I was just talking with Albert McLeod, who's, for anybody who's interested, there's free posters. If you have LGBTQ students who may need a little bit of support, there are free posters in the trade show. Make sure you go check out the trade show, and you can put up those posters to help your LGBTQ students with that. Where was I going with that? I had a good question at the end of that. Now I lost it. Oh, yeah. So, as you grew up, you obviously had teachings downloaded to you, that just come from your culture. Was there anything that maybe that you were taught that you didn't realize you were being taught that came out either through your career or through becoming a mom?
Boy, this Michael has all the good questions. Definitely. I think that, I was raised by a single mom. My mom is Leslie Spillett, and some people in the room might know who she is, excuse me. And so she raised us as a single mom, and she raised us in ceremony. And I think that she did that for a couple of reasons. my mom grew up in northern Manitoba, and my kukum was deeply ashamed of who she was as a Cree woman. In fact, one of my memories as a child is visiting my kukum up north and going into her medicine cabinet and finding a makeup palette and opening that makeup palette and wondering why it was white women's makeup. And what I know now from looking back is that her shame drove her to do everything that she could to cover her Creeness. So she would put that makeup on to cover her beautiful brown skin. And when my mom came to the city, she did her best to find ways to connect to our culture and traditions, because at that point already, my family had put those things aside. And I don't blame them for it, because I know that it was the best. They were doing the best that they could to survive the racism that they were living in at the time. And what I've learned from my mom is that the importance of being fiercely determined. What I learned from my mom by watching her raise us by herself is that there was really no limitations to the love of a woman and the possibilities that come from that love, the change that can come from that love. And so I think that that's what I rely mostly on, is looking back and learning through the different waves of my family, and also cultural pride. So I'm really happy. Like I said, my daughter's Mushum is here today, and he's a fluent Anishinaabe speaker. And my little girl, because of her dad, can understand quite a bit of Anishinaabe. And that's when I watch them communicate with one another, it's so beautiful and incredible for me. My Chapan, my great-grandmother, was the last person in my own family who could fluently speak Cree. So when I watch my 2.5-year-old little girl walk around, and she understands what her dad is asking of her, and she tries to imitate the things her papa tells her, the things her dad tells her in the language, I'm so incredibly amazed, because waves, like the waves of colonialism that our people have survived, have done each and everything to make sure that isn't possible. My 2-year-old daughter, if you're looking back on the history of Canada, it shouldn't be possible for her to understand her grandfather when he speaks in the language, yet it is. And I think that really speaks to the strength of our people and the determination of our people to ensure that the next generations still have something to carry forward in the time that they're in now.
All right. Sounds like a lot of people agree with that answer, and it was a great answer. In my own life, myself too, one of my greatest embarrassments is that I'm not fluent in my traditional language. And I asked my mom, who, grew up in racist northern Manitoba in the 50s and 60s, why didn't you teach me Cree? And she said, if you had a bush accent, you'd never be able to get a job. And, and that was her being, in some ways, embarrassed about her own Creeness. Now, we do have a question from the audience. Jen here has a wireless mic. So if you have a question, put up your hand for Tasha. Jen, take it away.
Yeah. So I have a question here from Joyce Perot.
Hi, being an author myself, on a book that I published back in 2018 titled All Creation Represented: A Child's Guide to the Medicine Wheel. How do you get it out there? Because I can't seem to get it going here in Manitoba, whereas in Vancouver, they just gobbled it up like crazy. So just give me some tips on how I could get it out there.
Thank you for your question. First, I want to honor the fact that you wrote the book. Most people struggle. They're like, I have a story in mind, and they don't take that first step of just trying to write the book. So that's, I think that's an incredible, thank you for getting the story out there. My next piece of advice. So for anyone who's interested in writing a book, there's kind of 2 directions that you can take. There's the traditional publishing route, where you kind of pitch your story to publishing houses, or there's a self-publishing route where you find your own illustrator and then you launch your book yourself. So my tip, I suppose, is to just share it far and wide, and that the right person is going to pick up the story. I don't think I shared this today, but I Sang You Down from the Stars was turned down by the first publishing house that I pitched to. And I was heartbroken because I really love that story. And so I sent it to them and they said, no, thanks. And I kind of wonder now what they think about that after having passed on it. But, keep on sharing this story. And then also, if I can help, that's the other thing is I think that once you are able to accomplish something, we can't just keep on going and leave everyone behind. So if I can help you in some way, maybe you can send me an email and then I can share it with the people who've been able to publish my work. Thank you.
All right. Great question. Getting published is difficult. It is very difficult just because there are so many people who want to get published. I was a part of the Manitoba Writers Association here, and I did a thing at the Centennial Library once a month where people would come, and it was split between young people who were sort of being creative and they had their own new ideas, and then elders of all different nations, white elders and Asian elders and all that, who were trying to download all that they learned. And so there was a big split. It was young people and elders, but they were trying to write. We do have another question from the audience here.
Hi, we have a question with Rita.
You know what? Actually, Rita recently got married just last week or the week before.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. She is now Rita Painter. Can we give her a round of applause? All right, Rita, what's your question?
My name's Rita, but also I just wanted to say I'm proudly from Lac Brochet, and I was a foster child in Canada for most of my life, and I got acknowledged from the 60s Scoop, and I shared my story with Michael and with my community. I'm very proud to come from Lac Brochet, but I've lived in Winnipeg for 35, 40 years, and it's every child matters because like the lady was saying in her story, how she struggled with learning disabilities and cognitive issues. I have those issues too. I have multiple disabilities. I have cerebral palsy. I live in a wheelchair 24/7, but I haven't let it stop me. I go to AA, I go to church, and I go to ceremonies. It's all inclusive and it's all important. The day that we say it's not important, that's when people do things like drinking and drugs and commit suicide. When you're teaching children, whether they have learning or developmental issues or cognitive issues, they have troubles reading and writing like I do, it's important that we all remember they belong in this circle and education is important so that they can have a better future. It's all of our responsibilities. One more question. So is it important to remember Jordan's principle and our children with disabilities?
And I think you just did a more beautiful job answering the question than I could. Thank you, Frida. And definitely, yes, like Frida said, it's important to make sure that we're bringing all children into our circle. We know that the circles that we have as a community is the number one safe place for our children. And so whether, however creator has made that child with other specific gifts, some challenges, that we need to find a way to make space of value and importance for all those children. And I know Michael talked about the work that Albert McLeod is doing with the Two-Spirit people of Manitoba. In my other books, my graphic novel series, Surviving the City, the main character is a Two-Spirit person. And it was important for me to ensure that I was doing my part as an ally and as a relative to the Two-Spirit people to ensure that I was making a statement in how important it is to make room for gay, lesbian, transgender, Two-Spirit young people in our circles. Because when we don't, we're the ones who are putting our own children at risk. And we know that outside of those circles, that our children are at risk of the things that Frida described, taking their own lives, drugs, alcohol, all those hurtful things that we don't want for our children. And so when we do the work within ourselves, the healing work that is required to love one another fully and truly, to love one another as Creator loved us when we were made, then we do the work of ensuring that we are ending those things, that we're ending the crisis of suicide in our communities, that we're ending the crisis of drug and alcohol abuse in our communities. And for me, that's the most important thing. The most important thing after the books that I write, the most important thing that we do as teachers is really just ensuring that our children know that they are loved and that they're safe and they live the big, beautiful lives that Creator intended them to do. And we have work to do to ensure that we can support them to do that. And sometimes that work is really hard. Sometimes that work is setting down the things that we were taught previously, setting down the ways that we were taught to other one another, that we were taught to hate one another. You know, love saves lives. And I know that that sounds cheesy, but it's absolutely true that when we love each other, when we take care of one another, we support the children that we have to do what they were destined to do what Creator intended them to do. And congratulations on your wedding.
All right. For those that don't know, Rita is an amazing volunteer who helps so many organizations and does do ceremony and go to church and all those things that she said. And so hats off to Rita. Yeah, she's living a life and a half, that's for sure. All right. All right, it's 10 o'clock. We still want to do a little bit more. Are there any more questions out there? You know, one of the things that we have been talking a lot about is the idea that every child has a gift. Now, in my teachings, I guess that gift is given through sort of two rainbows coming together, I guess you could say. There is the rainbow from Father Sky. And so to explain that, I guess, so when I, let's say, kill a deer, I put down tobacco to honor that individual deer, but I'm also honoring the greater deer spirit through which is sort of like a prism, right? The light of creation comes down, it hits the greater deer spirit, and a rainbow of deer are now cast on the land. They're all different kinds. They have different feelings. They're different personalities. And that is the rainbow that comes from Father Sky. But there's a rainbow that comes up from Mother Earth. And that is, you know, plains people are different from people who live by volcanoes. Coastal people are different from people who live in forests. You know, the Omoshkego are different from the people who live on the tundra, right? This is the rainbow that comes from the land. So these two rainbows meet. And that's where creation, each one of us is an experiment of creation where these two rainbows meet. And you know, creation is seeing, well, if we put a little deer on the edge of the swamp, what happens? If we put a little deer on the edge of the forest, what happens? Well, the swamp deer gets eaten right away, just FYI. But so all of us are experiments by creation and these two rainbows coming together. So that's my understanding of how we get our gifts and how we become individuals through the very process of our creation. So getting back to Tasha, is there anybody else who has questions? Tasha, you know, you talked about you know, bringing out gifts in your students. And, you know, we have a lot of teachers here that we want to encourage and give them good ideas on what they can take back to their students. So do you have any encouragement and ideas on how they can access specifically, you know, that little quiet First Nation kid's gift?
So I know as a classroom teacher that the quiet kid that Michael described, sometimes you wonder, like, is anything that I'm saying getting into this little mind? And I know that it can sometimes even be a little bit frustrating. And what I learned from trial and error is just to give space, to find ways to access, you know, how that child wants to communicate with you. And I have a student in my mind. I can see this student. His name was Nicholas. He was in my first classroom, and Nicholas didn't like to talk to others, barely liked to talk to me, barely liked to talk to his EA. And so I felt like all the classroom activities would just kind of flurry around Nicholas, and he was physically there, but I could tell he was always going somewhere else in his mind. And so one day, I think we were working on a novel study. One day I asked Nicholas, like, what do you want to read? And to my shock, he wanted to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So he did. And I said, well, what do you want to write me an essay? How am I going to see what you're learning, Nicholas? And he said he wanted to write me a play. And so while all the other students were working on that particular novel study and doing essay questions and short answer questions and all those things we asked our students to do, Nicholas was working on a play about the Lord of the Rings. And if I was really tried to get him to do what I wanted him to do, one, he wouldn't have really learned. I would have shut him down, and he probably would have lost a lot of trust in me. But I'm glad that I kind of just gave up a little bit of control and let him lead the way. And so I think that young people do tell us what they need. We just need to figure out how to listen and how to carry through and how to follow their lead. And I do want to acknowledge that I know that I'm in the room of experts. I know that I'm in a room of people who are doing the best that they can with everything that they're given in the time that they're in to do the absolute best for children. And like I said, I know that the past 2.5 years have been really difficult, especially in schools. You're trying to get your kids to learn what you want them to learn, what they need to learn. And you're also trying to help their hearts and figure out how to be in a world that is changing each and every day. Plus the things that happen at home, plus their relationships with one another, plus trying to figure out who that they are in this big world. And that's a difficult task. I think that we wear the hats of teachers, but the truth is we are nurses, we are social workers, we are counselors, we are dietitians, we are moms, we're dads, we're aunties. We are a range of supports for the children that walk into schools each and every day. And so I honor all the experts in the room as well.
Okay. I guess I want to kind of get into there's a lot of First Nation teachers out there. And we also have actually in the Resource Center a lot of teachers from other cultures, Filipino teachers and other cultures that are collectivist as compared to individualist. Collectivist cultures are ones that sort of where the building block of the community is the family, as compared to, say, city cultures where it's the individual. So when you're teaching, especially in a sort of colonialist sort of framed thing like education in some areas and in some schools, how do you see that difference between collectivist and individual, and how do you overcome it, or how do you integrate them both?
This question kind of makes me laugh because you said, how do you overcome it? And the truth is that I didn't figure out how to overcome it. So after 5 years of teaching in the school system, I left the public school system because I had, like I said in my talk earlier, I graduated with my B.Ed, and I thought for sure I was going to change the system. I was 21 years old, and I took off like a horse through the gate. And I thought, I was going to be the one to change the system. I was going to be the one to make sure that Indigenous children and children of color knew that they were brilliant and honored in the classroom. And then I got my first classroom, and I realized really quickly that it's super tough to change the system from within. And from that learning that I had in the classroom working in the Winnipeg public school system, the more and more I realize that, it's not our job to change the system. It will require some of us within the system to ensure that our families and our children who are going to school and learning in those places are protected and loved the best that they can. But really, we have a right to our own systems. We have a right to Indigenous school systems that are built on our values, our ethics, and with, the unwavering determination that our children are best taught by us and our families, that our ways of being, our knowledges are just as valuable, that they are just as brilliant. And so the work that I've done since then has been moving towards looking at what does an Indigenous school system look like? And this is getting off course, but Michael's question makes me think of a time when I was working with other community members here in Winnipeg to develop an Indigenous school system in Winnipeg. And I'll tell you, the amount of pushback that came from the Manitoba government at the time was absolutely insurmountable. They did each and everything that they could to ensure that the thought of an Indigenous school system here in Winnipeg didn't advance to the point of becoming into being. And I remember this day, and it really shifted my own thinking. I remember a day when I was in a meeting at the Legislative Assembly with the then Minister of Education under Conservative government. And myself and a couple other educators from our community went there to share our plan for this Indigenous school system, Indigenous school division with the Minister of Education at the time. And I remember he listened to us, politely he listened to us. And then he proceeded to present each and every reason why we didn't need one, even though we know that our kids are leaving the school system at a rate more than other communities, even though we know that our children and our families are experiencing harm in the school system. And you know what it came down to for him? And I haven't talked about this at this scale publicly. It came down to dollars. He asked, well, what will happen if all these Indigenous children leave the public school system to go into this Indigenous school division? Don't you know that each children is worth X amount of dollars for the school? That's what it came down. He was so afraid that us leading our own education in the city of Winnipeg with an Indigenous school division would undermine the dollars of his schools. And at that point, I realized, I can spend my whole career fighting this system. I can spend my whole career pushing back, trying to change it. And, that people have done it. People in generations before me have done it. I can think of Debbie Beach, who's done incredible work. Myra Laramie. These are women, my mom, these are women who have invested huge amounts of their lives into trying to change the system. Or we can develop our own school systems for our children. And for me personally, that's where I hope and I plan to spend my energy.
And of course, that was the philosophy behind the Manitoba First Nation Education Resource Center and the Manitoba First Nation school system, is the importance of First Nation people teaching First Nation children in First Nation communities. Charles, did you want to have something? Okay, Charles is just going to give Tasha a thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Tasha. Very good, strong messages that you provide. I do want to do a little bit of a follow-up to that, though, and again, based on that concept of our schools, our own school systems, and when you look at certainly our histories, and I mentioned them earlier about what our children need to know and need to learn, but also it's up to us to do that. It's up to us to create those that curriculum to do that. It's up to us to also teach that, and I know our teachers can do that, and I know will do it. When I think of who knows best for those children in our communities? We do, as based on who we are as Anishinaabe people. And again, that's the basis of what we have even today as a school system. And I'll share with you, it was not a very difficult sell, to government to have a school system that we create on our own, and we have our own people. When I look at it within that school system, right from the start, it's built by First Nation people for First Nation people, and that's the children. And so anything is possible. At no point have we said no. We will not accept government what you prescribe. We don't have any prescriptive items within our agreements with government because we hold that power and authority. And I'm not blowing smoke here because we won't accept no from the government anymore. So, and when you look at the foundation video yesterday, again, it's just carrying on exactly what our the previous leaders, previous politicians carried on. So when we're able to do that, we're able. This is a testament of what it is today. Just by being here, is we're able to do whatever we choose to do and want to do, and we won't take any less. I'm very sincere about that. I'm very again proud. We sit with government across from us, and no time will we accept a prescriptive message from them because we are the ones in authority and power on what we want for the children, because what we want from the children comes from yourselves, and that's what all we're carrying. So I just want to say that I thank you very much for the keynote. Appreciate the message, and again, Kichimi Igwech, thank you very much.
All right. Just to let you know, Tasha's husband is Leonard Sumner. Some of you may know him. He is an amazing musician. He's going to be playing our lunch show. He's going to be our entertainment at lunch. So please stay tuned. I kind of wanted to ask Tasha how having a famous husband has affected her career, but yes. Okay, there's some other things I want to take care of. We have our Twitter contest. So you can follow the Resource Center on Twitter at MFNERC. And after attending a workshop session, take a selfie and tweet it along with something about the workshop and use the hashtag. You know what? I'm going to take a drink of water because I'm getting dry. All right. Use the hashtag LTF 2020 and retweet one of your reposts, and you will be entered into a draw. And I believe the prize is an iPad. That's what it is. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, lunch. Herb roast beef. They specifically said roast beef. Earlier it was roast beast, and I asked them to clarify. And that's coming with oven roasted and potato wedges. Yeah, you know what? We're going to break a little bit early, I think, but you do want to come back for sure because we are going to be having a little bit of a health break, and then we're going to be doing a presentation of the science fair winners and entrants. And some of you may have seen the presentations here. I'm a huge supporter of science fairs. I think they're awesome, and the kids get to come up with their own ideas and create something. And a lot of times the science fair projects are the first time that these students take on something big and something as a team. And so I really do love the science fair. So make sure you come back for that. Also, we are having I've heard that this gentleman by the name of Ryan Richard is an amazing jigger. I'm told that his feet don't even touch the ground. So that's pretty crazy for jigging. So we're going to have a jigging demonstration after the science fair honoring. So you want to tune in for that. We're going to get some audience participation going, and it's going to be a fun time. And we're going to have that just before lunch. So go have a break, have your smokes, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. And then make sure you're back here in about, let's say, at 10:40. All right? 10:40, come on back. Thank you all.
B3. We have a bingo. In case you didn't know, those people that are sitting down are only going to win the bingo. The rest of you, sit down. We're going to start. We're now going to start with the next part of our presentation. So if you can hear me out there, come and sit down. Astamik. Apik. Sit down. Come on in. Have some tea. Who's ever heard of that song? Maskiga pue minigwe. All right, your health break is over. You're healthy now. I'll tell you a little story while we're waiting for everybody to sit down. But before I do, I just want to remind everybody that we still have our contest. It is hashtag LTF2022. And you go to Twitter at MFNERC. And if you don't have Twitter, you borrow somebody's Twitter and you put your name on there with your picture. You're supposed to take a selfie anywhere, especially with some of our presenters. Who so far has appreciated some of the presentations? Put your hand together. Can I get anybody that has taught in this organization for the first time this year? Can you stand up? First time in one of our schools this year. I see 1, 2. Anybody that has taught 3? Anybody else? Can I get you to give them a round of applause, please? Anybody that has taught for 5 years or less, 2 to 5 years, stand up. Teachers, 2 to 5 years, or principals, there you go. Give them a round of applause. Anybody else that has either worked, taught, has been an administrator for more than 5 years? More than 5 years, stand up. Give them a round of applause. Thank you for your commitment. As a former teacher, I can guarantee that consistency in a classroom, in a school, is one of the best things that students look forward to. Sometimes they may not show it, but in a lot of ways, that is the best way to make sure that the kids get the support that they need. And as for my story, I'm going to have to hang on to that one. It involves hockey, a pastor, and me doing a lot of swearing at the pastor. So, but we'll save that one until before lunch. And I ask for forgiveness every day. Okay, so I want to invite up to the stage our Director for Languages and Culture, Davin Dumas. And I also want to put a plug in. He's also a board member for the First Nations Education Administrators Association, an organization that was born from the AFN, really supporting administrators. So if you're interested as a principal or a director, talk to Davin as a board member. The FNEAA is definitely geared to support anybody that's going to be interested in policy, practice, procedures, definitely best practices. So with our honoring of science fair participants and winners. So Davin, take it away.
Anina Kira, Chimiwich, Gideon Kabi, Jaikoma, Ai, Davin Dumas, Dishnikas, Kawiquen Donga, Kandonji, Achai, Jikandam Mai, Ai Noma. Aniawe Jama, our executive director, Charles Cochran, Ai, the Biwichisna. And I would also like to welcome all of you. As Simon had said, I am the Director of Languages and Culture for the MFNERC. And we're taking some time this morning to recognize the accomplishments of some of our students from our First Nation schools. So at this time, I'd like to call up the students who are here that are the finalists for our science fair. So if they can make their way up to the stage here, we're going to do some presentations, and we have a little gift for them that we're going to give that our executive director will be giving them. So I'll ask Charles to come up, and our science fair students, come on up. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's get them up here. We got certificates and iPad names to give them. Which one you want to give? I'll give this, you give those. Okay. 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 Come on up. I know it's a little bit intimidating, but you can look at us if you want. So I'm going to, just a little bit of background. The Manitoba First Nations Science Fair has been running for many, many years. And just like everything else, the pandemic threw a wrench into how we complete that activity each year. Schools would have their local science fairs. We would have some regional science fairs. And I would say the best of the best would be brought into Winnipeg, and we would host the science fair at the University of Manitoba, where they would showcase their work. And from there, we would select 2 students to represent our Manitoba First Nations in the National Science Fair. So what we have here today is we have the finalists, and we also have the 2 students that will be representing MFNERC and our First Nation schools at the Canada-wide Science Fair. So we have a certificate for them. Simon's rearranging furniture, and we have a gift for them that our executive director will be giving them as well. So I'll read their name and which community they're from, and we can show our appreciation for the work they've done in representing their communities, their families, and themselves. So the first one that we'd like to acknowledge is Peyton Eastman Moore. So you can just stand by, yeah. So Peyton is from Ochichaco-Sibi First Nation. So I know she's representing her community well. The next student we'd like to recognize is Jalen Cameron. So Jalen is from Swan Lake First Nation. Next is Deanna Travers. And Deanna is from Kinozio-Stiron First Nation. So next we have Brooke Amo. Brooke is from Ochichaco-Sibi First Nation as well, so we welcome her. And last but not least is Dylan Bercier. And Dylan is also from Kinojeo Stegon. So Dylan was really nervous. I said, don't worry, boy, you'll be okay. You just get up there and look good. And he said, are you going to make me talk? And I said, no, I wouldn't do that to you. Not this time. So again, I want to congratulate. Let's give them all a round of applause for all their hard work and their accomplishment. So along with their certificate, they received the new iPad mini that was actually just released. So those are yours. I hope you have fun. Use them with care. I also wanted to mention that two of these students have been selected to represent MFNERC and the First Nations at the Canada-wide Science Fair. And that's Deanna Travers and Dylan Bercier. So maybe if you two could just step forward. So they will be representing at Canada-wide. The Canada-wide Science Fair is next week, and it is a virtual event. So much like our science fair that we had this year, it was a virtual. The Canada-wide Science Fair will also be a virtual event. So they'll be presenting online along with all the other students from across Canada. So the only other thing I'd like to say is if you'd like to see their projects, they have them set up in the hallway. Feel free to go and see them and have a look at their work that they've done. So they have some great projects there. They're also going to be doing a session this afternoon where they're going to be doing a kind of a workshop at a gallery in the afternoon in the first workshop block. So if you're interested in hearing more, they'll be there. So with that, I would just like to say Kichimigwech to the staff that support these students in their communities, in their First Nations, and to their parents for allowing them to come out and participate and be part of our Lighting the Fire workshop. And I just wanted to also give an acknowledgement to our MFNERC staff who work to support the students in the virtual science fair as well as the Canada-wide science fair. So, Kichimigwech. Thank you.
Thank you, Davin. Congratulations once again. So if you can give all our young people one big round of applause. And a lot of that comes from our staff members. I want to say thank you very much. Yesterday, I sat in on a presentation by, I believe his name is Alberto and Jason. And one of the presentations was actually a science fair project. I'm not sure if one of those students are here with us today, but the story was that the science fair project was all done on cardboard and on pen, and it was a social experiment. And so it was easily to kind of glance by and walk by the student's presentation because it didn't have that typical wow factor. And so the presentation that I sat in on was called Two-Eyed Seeing. It's really you trying to compare traditional knowledge with STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. And too many times we kind of get caught always trying to pay attention to the sparkly things, seemingly ignoring the knowledge behind the presentation itself. And so that story really embodied how much we have to pay attention to the knowledge, especially by elders, especially the traditional knowledge, especially by students that are displaying their thoughts, a lot of their emotions right before an audience that really they don't interact with on a daily basis. And so I encourage all staff members to take a second look at our projects by the students to make sure that we're paying attention to what it is that's trying to be said. Perhaps it's traditional knowledge being displayed or shared in a different way. And so the story that was shared yesterday's presentation was it took an administrator, a coordinator to say, take a look at that one more time. And so it went on to get a third place at a national science fair. So with that said, again, congratulations, and staff members. I've seen some of you take pictures with your students. Keep up that good work. Just want to give a heads up to Ryan Richard. Ryan Richard, are you ready, available in the next couple minutes? All right, perfect. He's just warming up. How many of you have done some jigging in your lifetime? Put up your hand. All right. How many of you have not seen any jigging and this would be the first time? Put up your hand. All right. And as you get older back home, there's a time and place you stop jigging and it's more jiggling. That's what happens during a pandemic. And you cook lots and you eat lots, so you're in good company. First time I did any jigging myself I was about the same age as the students that came up here, and nobody was participating in the competition. There's supposed to be first, second, and third up for grabs. So my mom says, I'll give you $20. Oh, I didn't really know what I was doing, but my legs went this way and that way, and that's how I started. So it's all about trying something that may not come naturally, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. All right, I'll tell you a short story while we're waiting for Ryan. I just, for some of you, you might know, or maybe a lot of you will not know that I'm what you call a recovering politician. I was teacher first, I was a principal first, and then I went to politics in Saskatchewan. I was one of the vice chiefs. And, after a busy day, hockey is a great way to really burn out some frustrations and some stress that you experience from the federal table, from the provincial table, and sometimes from your own people. And wouldn't you know it, I found myself in a pickup hockey game. Well, if you ever get a call from, your cousins or your friends, and they're all Indian people, you know that your jerseys are all mismatched and your socks are blue and the other one is yellow and everything is kind of put together. And of course, when I got on the ice at about 11 o'clock at night, we were playing against a young team. Everything was matching. The helmets, the sweaters were blue, and everybody had white socks. And boy, wouldn't you know it, there was only 3 of us left on the bench. And 15 minutes into the game, I'm already tired. So I had chief legs, small at the bottom, big on top. That's how I was shaped. And so, of course, what you lack in skill, you make up in aggression. That goes for me anyways. And that's certainly how I played. I think I got 2 minutes for slashing somebody. All I did was play a little aggressively to grab the puck, and there goes the stick, and there goes the whistle, and off to the bench. Now there's only 2 guys left, and I was not happy. We're tired. And a lot of the guys on our bench, they're having to skate and no breaks. and whistle goes, puck drops, everybody's going at it, and I'm still drinking over here the water that I have. I look over to our goalie, and there's big number 8 went and sat on our goalie. All I seen was he's sitting on the goalie, and I swear, and I yell, "Number 8, get off of our goalie." And I swore up and down. Next whistle goes, the puck's on the other side. There we are, fighting for that puck, making sure we do all the right plays. We almost score. We got really good guys, except myself, but really good guys on our bench and our team. And whistle blows. Well, I need another break, and I'm getting off the ice, and I skate by somebody that I thought I recognized, and sure enough, it's my pastor's son. Ooh, I gotta bite my tongue a little bit. And I'm skating again, another pastor's son. Same guy. He has 3 sons, all hockey players, young, strapping, good-looking athletes. Third guy, sure enough, number 8, and I look at him, and it's my pastor. So be careful how you react when you're out there on the ice, especially if you're playing against the church team that you go to every Sunday. So with that said, are we ready? Ryan, Richard? All right. The stage is down there. Awesome. All right. Any words you want to share? You know, it's always nice to hear a little bit of story of how you started off and where you're from. We do know that you're from Sandy Bay, Ojibwe Nation. We do know that sometimes, and maybe all the time, you're with the Asham Stompers. All right. And with that said, maybe do a brief introduction and how you started off. Maybe somebody handed you $20 to start.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all here at Lighting the Fire Conference 2022. Pew, pew, pew. Just kidding. My name is Ryan Richard. I come from Sandy Bay all the way. And Crane River, where they give her. Woohoo. Just kidding. So I learned jigging at a really young age. In my Jolly Jumper, believe it or not, I learned how to jig by my grandmother. I don't know if you all know my grandmother, Irene Richard from Sandy Bay. Yeah, she was my grandmother. She taught me how to jig at a really young age. And I won my first competition when I was 2 years old, believe it or not, at Austin, Manitoba, at the Threshermen's reunion there. So, and then I just started going to talent shows all the time and started getting beat by my brother Jason and my sister Lauralee. So it motivated me to become a better jigger. Just kidding. But yeah, I did. And then I started winning competitions, and then I left home when I was 16 and I moved to Winnipeg. I started just couch surfing around, and then I had an opportunity to dance at the Folklorama back in 1998, I think it was, 98, 99. And then I just started learning how to dance to the Orange Blossom, the Big John McNeil. Then I started to get better, and I was doing 3 shows every night for 7 days. So I was doing that. Then that's when I started developing new steps, and then I went to the Canada's jigging competition, and I represented Manitoba, and I won that Canada National Championship. Thank you. Then I entered the Worlds, which was in Reedy Creek, and won that, but that was fixed. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so here I'm going to demonstrate a Red River jig. The Red River jig was developed here at the Forks. So, and it's like a song. It's like you got your 2 parts, you got your basic, and then you got your verse, right? So verse is always different, and then your chorus is always the same. So that's what I'm going to do for you. I'll do some Red River jigs for you. I don't know how much steps, but if you want to count how much steps, you can, and tell me how much. But here we go with the Red River jig. Wait till I get to the Senate. Okay, wait. That was the Red River Jig. Did you count how much? What? Can't count that high or what? I'm just kidding. I'm also a comedian. Just kidding. But yeah, that was the Red River Jig. I lost count at 2. Because that's how high I can count. That's the only grade I completed. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I'm just waiting. I have a surprise for you later on for the breakdown. You guys will see her in a bit. There's a hint. Yes, it's a her. I have Felicia Morso coming to join us. She's my long-time jigging partner. For those of you who don't know who Felicia Morso is, she also comes from Crane River where they give her. Yeah. So other than jigging, I just recently landed a job with a great great dream team I couldn't dream of asking for. MFNSS, hey! It's my new dream team. But yeah, other than that, I have another hobby I like to do. I'm also a professional drag queen. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm also Miss Sandy Bay, all the way from Crane River, where they give her. Yeah, that's enough. But yeah, enough about her. That old witch. So, but yeah, here I am, Ryan Richard, master of the jig. And I'm gonna, you know what, let's give me a little break here. I want to get you guys involved here, okay? Wait, let me get up here. If you want to stand up from your spots, this will be a good chance to stretch out and move our bodies a little bit. And you know what? This will be great for our white cells too. Yeah, it would. Okay, so I call this part Jig to Health because I want to get everybody involved. So stand up. This won't take long. It'll take like 17 minutes of your time. Just kidding. So here we go. This is a really simple dance. It's called heel toe polka. For the reason why they call it heel toe polka is we're gonna go like this. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Simple. And then with the other foot, heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. And then it'll repeat over and over. You do that twice. Then here's the good part. You go 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. Okay? So let's put that together. Ready? Here we go. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Then we go kick, 1, 2, 3, kick. Ready? Go. Kick, 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. Awesome. So here we're gonna go. My awesome assistant, Rachel Bolio. Hey, give her a hand. I'm heel toe polka. 29. Okay, here we go with the music now. All together. It's gonna start right away, so we'll start with the kick, 1, 2, 3. I'll tell you when to start, okay? So here we go. See? Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe. Ready? Kick. Go. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick. 3 kick, 1, 2, 3. Kick. Ready? Here we go. Heel, toe. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe. Go. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3. If you know how to jig, you can just jig. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1. 1, 2, 3, kick. 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 Heel, toe. Toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. Woo-hoo. Heel, toe. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Now that was a good stretcher, eh? Woo! We don't need any stretchers? Okay, good. We're good to go. It was a good one. We had a good round there. So that's what I usually do when I do my shows. I like to get the people involved and their bodies moving. That's why I call it Jig to Health. So that's why I like to get you guys involved. Did you guys like that? Yeah? Oh, come on. Did you guys like that? Woo-hoo! Okay, look who's arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just give her a hand to calm down, let her warm up and stretch out and get prepared for your beautiful faces so we can do our breakdown. So that was our heel toe polka. I don't know if we want to get a couple people up here. I'll teach you the 7-step. This is a lot of fun, but we need a lot of space for this one. So if I could get like at least maybe 5 people or as much as people as want to come. This one is really fun and simple. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go right 7 times. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're gonna go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So, when in 7th step, when you do 4, you're doing 7 of them. Okay, that's why they call it 7. So you're doing 7 steps, and then you're doing 7 rounds of the 4. Okay, so let's try it, everybody. Yeah, come on, people, don't be shy. Come on in the middle. It's a really fun dance. We do an entry, and it goes and then it'll go Okay, ready? 7 steps. And it doesn't matter. Okay, that's good. Awesome. Woo! Let's give a hand to these people up here because this takes a lot of courage. And so are we ready? I'll go down over here so you can see. Ready? Okay, ready? There's room right here. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to go 7 steps this way, then 7, then 4, 4, 8 times, okay? Okay, I'll go like this so we know that. Ready? I'll try not to give you the finger though, okay? Okay, here we go. That's happened a couple times. That's to students, so I was like, oh my God. Okay, so here we go. Ready? With the music. Remember, there's a little intro at first. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4. 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 2. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7. 4. Yes. Woo-hoo. Let's give them a hand, everybody. Thank you. Yes, and it goes on and on and on. Thank you so much. That was the 7th step. You want to? Oh, we got a request to do heel toe polka one more time. If you want to do heel toe polka one more time on stage, you can. Then we'll do our breakdown. Yeah? Okay. Okay, let's try heel toe polka one more time. So if you want to come onto the stage, you're welcome to. Okay, good? Okay, we'll do breakdown. Is this in my water? Oh. Okay, ready. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, remember it starts right away. So, not yet. Okay, this is the heel toe part. So we're gonna start kick 1, 2, 3, kick 1, 2, 3. Ready? Now. Kick 1, 2, 3, 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 kick 1. Heel toe, 1, 2, 3, 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 kick. 1, 2, 3, kick, 1, 2, 3, kick, 1, 2, 3, kick, 1, 2, 3, kick, 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Heel toe. Let's give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Heel toe. 1, 2. Thank you. Woohoo. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Wow. She must be a champion. She took off her flip-flops for that one. Felicia, she's giving you a run for her money. Just kidding. But anyways, that was my little demonstration to get you guys all involved and moving. Now you're in for a treat. Gonna do the breakdown. Red over, well, do turkey, this chicken real turkey in the straw, red over jig, Big John, and then orange blossom. So we got it all. So I'm gonna talk with my dancer for a bit. So if you wanna grab some water or something, it'll be like not even 1 minute.
Cameraman, can you come up here, cameraman? We need some nice close-up of some fast feet that are going to blow your minds away. By the way, it's very impressive the way you dance and then take the microphone. Most people would not be able to talk. So good job. So cameras, oh, here we go. That right there is going to display the dance moves up there.
She's the queen of the jig, and I'm the master of the jig.
Oh, the queen and the master.
Ladies and gentlemen, the queen of the jig, Miss Felicia Morso, and the master of the jig, Ryan Richard. Feels weird introducing myself.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, hit and blast it. That's going to be your entertainment. But first, I believe we're going to have our lunch. What time do you have? Lunch. Lunch. You have right now, grab your food and then come back about, make sure about 12:15. We're going to be starting the 12:15. About 12:15, 12:20, our dinner time entertainment. So once again, thank you very much to the Queen and the Master of Jigging. Give them one big round of applause. So grab your food, have your health break, come back here for lunch entertainment at about 12:20. You're going to have an army of servers, waiters, waitresses that are going to be serving the food right away. So if you come back to a spot with food, if there's no bites, yeah, it's all yours.
No chairs, no. A little bit of. Still need to find some power to this thing. Okay, well, yeah, she's gonna come up and. You want me on your left or your right? Yeah, perfect.
How long do you guys need? I can run online.
While you're enjoying your lunch, while the lunchtime entertainment is being set up, or at about 12:15, 12:20, just want to put a plug in here by our performer, our guests here up here. Ryan Richard has donated a pair of beaded earrings. If you go out to the trade show area, you will be entered to win a pair of beaded earrings donated by the master of jigging here at the booth, Two Spirited People of Manitoba booth, where they're selling T-shirts for $30 a piece. All donations, all funds raised go to that organization or to the group there, Two Spirited People of Manitoba. So when you get a break, when you find yourselves out to the trading area,
Still setting up for a minute here.
if you want is that area good enough right there? Hey, if you guys want some lunch, grab a seat somewhere.
Does it just need a few minutes? Did you do the lost and found? Okay, I can do it. Just do it because I want to be the. Did you tell everybody to move again?
No, I was waiting for directions.
Yeah. Okay. How about Okay, lunch is being served. That's awesome. We are going to have some entertainment coming up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, lunch is being served. That's super. Now, I hate to be the heavy again, but again, we're going to have to turn those back corners into Centennial 5 and Centennial 6 again. So the people at the back, eat up because you're going to be asked to move at about 12:45-ish. So thank you. Now, we had some lost and founds. Just want to do a little bit of that. We found a pair of black glasses. They look like ladies' glasses, but, who knows? We also found a stuffy teething toy. So it's a little stuffy with teething attachments. They taste like strawberries. We have a red USB stick. We haven't seen what's on it yet, but it is a red USB stick. Please come and pick up your porn. We have a computer plug-in. So it's a plug-in for a computer, a laptop or something, and you can find all that in registration. And then also there's a gentleman who is missing a pair of glasses. So if you found a pair of men's glasses, please pick those up. Simon's going to be introducing the entertainment right away, and I hope you enjoy the meal.
Use that cordless guy yet? Turn on my fire. No, I'll just be I'll just stand. Stand on the other side so you can. Where do you want to stand? Yeah, I'll put it on this side. Introduce us, I guess. I don't know if you're gonna introduce us. Yeah. Born ready.
Mac Foster, Mark.
Oh, this is Leonard Sumner. He's just my guitar player, backup guitar. I'll introduce him.
There you go. All right. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. So once again, I'd like to reintroduce this Lunchtime's entertainment. You might have picked up on the talent behind that guitar as they were getting ready. Anishinaabe, MC, singer, songwriter Leonard Sumner with his lead guitarist, Mr. Mark Foster. And so Leonard has a natural ability to storytell as it flows directly from the shores of the Little Saskatchewan First Nation, located in the heart of the Interlake of Manitoba. Sumner's self-identified sound is evidence in his ability to simultaneously occupy landscapes of multiple music genres, including hip-hop, spoken word, country, and rhythm and blues. With every vibration of the strings on his guitar, Leonard rattles the dust off of truths that have been buried for far too long. In this era of unsettling history and the healing wounds of the past, Sumner's music is an expression of medicine, muskegee, that walks the line between fortitude and fragility. So to find out more information, please do check out LeonardSumner.com. That's LeonardSumner.com. So with that, Leonard, take it away.
Bujan denaway maganaduk, Leonard Sumner ni Indigenous Kagish, Kamagak, and the Ingenious Nabe and the go. Migwache Pija and a Majit again on go Migwach Kagabis in the week. My name is Leonard Sumner from Little Saskatchewan First Nation. This is my bro, Matt Foster. He's here from Winnipeg First Nation. And we're here to play a little bit of music for you guys. We just recorded an album together. He co-produced it for me. And one of the main title of the song of the album is called Wanishkan. And one of my first memories of life is my mom. Every morning when she was still here, she would wake us up. She'd say, Wanishkan, time to rise and shine. And so I thought it would be a good way to pay tribute to her, to write a song about that. So it goes like this. There's a light peeking through the sheet on the window. outside the windows, it's rustling the leaves. There's a song on the air she ain't heard in ages, taking her back. Days gone by. Time when her father raised up 7 daughters, 4 brothers and a farm. Now have gone on. Some call it heaven, some call it home. Don't matter what you call it, it's a place we all go. There's tea on a kettle, steam starts to whistle. One-ish gone is the word. You rise and you shine, raised on the prairies, guided by north winds. One-ish gone is the word. You rise, you shine. Praise we said night before bed, kept us till morning. We opened our eyes, there were songs on the air she ain't heard in ages, taking her back. Days gone by. Tea on a kettle, steam starts to whistle. One-ish gone is the word. You rise and you shine, raised on the prairies, guided by north winds. One-ish gone is the word. You rise, you shine. To the songs on the AM she ain't heard in ages, taking her back. Days gone by. Thank you. I'm gonna sing a song that was asked to write by a couple of elders that are they're no longer with us. Henry Skywater and Elmer Corshane, at a conference just like this, asked me one time to write a song about the culture and the language, and they gave me tobacco and I accepted it. They told me, "Don't worry, don't try to rush it. The song will come when it comes." And it was in probably around 2013. I was living in the hotel room at Club Regent as a result of the 2011 flood, and the song came to me. It's called "The Ceremony." Praise up and tobacco down, gave thanks for the ones that have come before. And the ones that have yet to come. Beat a sweat as the wood is split. He said, "You know, I didn't always live this way. Glad glad he found me when he did. Been on the months wind. Oh, it's a beautiful life. She heard a jingle, it was in a dream. She said she never knew life could feel so free. As it did when she felt that drum. And she heard that dress was healing, saved hers from a pawn shop in Saskatoon. Glad he found her when he did. Been on the months wind. Oh, it's a beautiful life. Oh, it's a beautiful life. I was afraid when I saw that lodge. My grandfather was a Christian, not a stone. That's how I felt till I heard those songs. He was there, felt it in my heart. Every prayer just needs a place to start. I'm glad he found me when he did. Been on the months wind. Oh, it's a beautiful life. Oh, it's a beautiful life. Praise up and tobacco down. Gave thanks for the ones that have come before. And the ones that have yet to come. Oh, Chimigwach. So I've been working a lot of country music over the past 3 years. Used to be known more of a hip hop guy, rap. But ever since I was growing up on the res, we always listened to country music. And this is one of the songs I wrote. There's a music video on YouTube. You can go watch it. It's called Memories. And this song was #1 on the Indigenous Music Peoples Countdown many moons ago. And we're going to sing it for you guys today. Well, ain't it funny how 10 years go by? You turn around and you blink your eyes, it's gone. And all that's left is a memory. Well, I remember when I was young, and how I wish time would speed up, and now all that's left is a memory. Dusty roads and a painted sky. Miss some more as the years go by. All the beauty of a simple life is gone. And all you get are the memories. Saw my uncle in a dream last night. shook my hand, he was looking fine, shared a smile. It's nice of him to stop by on me. Well, ain't it funny how we make these plans, knowing damn well it ain't in our hands, oh no. All we get are the memories. Store them all, some are locked away. Spend the lives looking for the key. Ain't it funny how a song can bring them back and flood your mind with memories? Ooh. Don't you remember when you were young, and how you wish time would speed up and down? All that's left is a memory. Dusty roads and a painted sky. Miss them more as the years go by. All the beauty of a simple life is gone, and all you get are the memories. All the beauty of a simple life is gone, and all we get are the memories. Ooh. Right on. Thank you guys for listening. I know it's a very big room and there's food in front of you, so now's the perfect time to tell a story. Hey, just kidding. Oh, my joke didn't work. Now's the perfect time to tell a story. This guy gets it. No, I'm just kidding. My wife was up here earlier presenting, Tasha Spillett-Sumner. She wrote a book called I Sang You Down from the Stars that went on to be a New York Times bestseller. And our beautiful daughter, her experience with her pregnancy and her Cree history is all a part of that, a major part of that book. But she was kind of talking to me one time, and I had a conversation with Matt and said maybe we should turn that book into a song. And so we started working on it, and we recorded it for this next album. I Sang You Down from the Stars. So this is going to be the song that accompanies the books, and it goes like this. We loved you before we met you, before we held you in arms. We sang you down from the stars. Old folks tell us that so babies make the choice who sings them down from the stars. Search the sky for your eyes, saw a shooting star. Led us to fluffy eagle plume. Summer turned to fall, gather what we sow. You chose us as your first home. We loved you before we met you, before we held you in arms. We sang you down from the stars. tell us that babies make the choice. Who sings them down from the stars? Day that you arrive, family gathered far and wide. Medicines keep your spirit strong. Among them was a stone from the land where we belong. We held you close, whispered in your ear. We loved you before we met you, before we held you in our arms. We sang you down from the stars. Old folks tell us that babies make the choice. Who sings them down from the stars? We loved you before we met you, before we held you in our arms. We sang you down from the stars. Old folks tell us that babies make the choice. Who sings them down from the stars? This next song is a song I wrote when I was driving down to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I was driving down there by myself to go to the Gathering of Nations. And I just remember looking ahead of me and how beautiful the scenery looked. I was driving through the mountains. And I remember looking in my rear view and I saw a beautiful sunset. And it was a very beautiful time. And I just thought to myself, that seems like a song. And it's about making life beautiful, no matter what you're going through. So it's called Desert Rose. Yes, I'm sorry, Mama. Guess I'm going through some things. Let them get the best of me sometimes. Try to put some time and space between this rock and old hard place. Pack my bags, traveled through the night. There aren't too many things I own. Where I sing is where I'm home. I still need to find where I belong. The road did hold some answers, but it never held the key. 'Cause lights don't always shine where you can see. The sunset was beautiful. The stars were bright, moon was full. It sounded like a song that said to me, sorry if I ever done you wrong. Wandered to New Mexico. Life threw me a desert rose. Loved the scent, but had to let her go. Poet would have took the time to share the story in her eyes. All that came to mind for me was rain. Sweet grass on the rear view left my prayers on the land. I still miss the warmness of her hands. The sunset was beautiful. The stars were bright, moon was full. It sounded like a song that said to me, sorry if I ever done you wrong. Sorry if I ever, sorry if I ever, sorry if I ever done you wrong. Miigwech kage bezindi week. Leonard Sumner indígena kagish ki kamegak and doing janish na be and go. Miigwech AP jaen homage again. Thank you for listening. My name is Leonard Sumner from Little Saskatchewan First Nation. This is my good friend Matt Foster, my brother in music. And I'd like to say hi to my dad in the audience out there. Jerry Sumner is my father, if you guys know him. I don't really know him. Just kidding. He's out there somewhere. Maybe here. Miigwech, like I said, mi emananik ke kituan. So that's all my time for this afternoon. I hope you guys have a wonderful conference and stay safe and healthy. And we'll see you guys on the other side. I have CDs here for $20 if anybody wants one. Come see me on the side of the stage. Miigwech.
Excellent job. Now, if they wanted, do you have any anything like the old days, CDs to sell or anything? CDs, yeah. Testing 1, 2, 3. For those of you that are interested in supporting local, homegrown, talented artists, Leonard does have CDs for sale. And I would definitely encourage that you come and take a picture, get an autograph.